So we're at MSN.com. This is from 6 days ago. Uh, Coast Guard pioneer, race riot survivor, laid to rest. White Plains, New York. The first African American woman to serve in the U.S. Coast Guard and one of the last survivors of a race riot in Oklahoma has been laid to rest with military honors. A funeral was held Wednesday in White Plains, New York for Olivia Hooker. She was 103 years old when she died on November 21st. The Coast Guard says Hooker enlisted in the second. The Coast Guard said Hooker enlisted in the Coast Guard's Women Reserve in 1945 and rose to the rank of Yeoman second class before her discharge in 1946. Hooker also survived one of the worst race riots in U.S. history. She was 6 years old in 1921 when the late spring riot destroyed much of a Tulsa neighborhood that had been known as Black Wall Street. Hooker was a psychologist and a professor of psychology at Fordham University, where she retired at age 87 in 2002. So this is our, you know, reaching out to the to those who are gone, and just saying, it's a beautiful thing. You get what I'm saying? You know that she at least made it. Word. It was I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Was blessed with longevity, you know. And then we're gonna segue into our next article here, and it's a 100-year-old Tuskegee Airman found dead in Harlem home, and this is from 4 days ago, and his name is Wilfred Defour, a member of the Tuskegee Airmen, an all-black squadron of World War II pilots that inspired African Americans across the country, died in his Harlem home Saturday. He was 100 years old. Defour's home health aide found the centenarian in the bathroom of his Fifth Avenue home just before 9 a.m., cops said. Last month, Defour was honored as a post office on Macomb's Place in Harlem was renamed the Tuskegee Airmen Post Office Building. Defour worked as a postal employee for more than 30 years after his military service. This is in quotes. We did not know we were making history at the time. Defour, an aircraft technician, said that during the renaming ceremony, we were just doing our job. Defour painted the tails of the aircraft from which the squadron drew its Red Tails nickname. An autopsy has been slated to determine how he died, although no criminality is expected, police said. All I can say is that regardless if either one of these people are genetically close to even being my people, the white man has made them black people. Most definitely they have been treated as black people, most definitely their whole lives. And it would be a travesty to overlook what it is that they survived and went through. Her being the first female to join the Coast Guard Reserves, that's sure, the first African American woman to do that, sure, that's whatever. But her surviving the Tulsa, Oklahoma riots, that's something worth mentioning, and that's worth noting. And even if she hadn't been a veteran, that would be her passing away as a survivor of such a travesty and tragedy would be worth mentioning. There is no rest for the wicked, none. And the wicked have worked really hard to keep people like this oppressed their entire lives. As a postman, I'm sure he faced racism. As a university professor, I'm sure she faced racism. I'm positive. Sexism, all that stuff. With that said, I salute my elders for being who they were and for doing the best they could in the environment that we live in. With that said, I salute you too for listening and for being understanding of their plight, as it is our plight that we still live. Appreciate your time, and you guys have a blessed day.